Hi guys, it's Mr. Call. We're just working on giving some homework help for homework 2.5, solving two-step equations with fractions. Again, we're using the box on these ones, and the box is really helpful. So this is an 8th grade math class homework help, and we really haven't seen these until 8th grade. And they look really similar. You'll notice here just on this first page that I have 1 and 2, problems 1 and 2, are actually problems we're going to work out here. They are kind of similar. You see that I am adding a 4 in both cases, and I am dividing by 2 in both cases, but the answers are different. So let's go through it and see how the box helps us solve these problems. So number 1, again, this time we're dealing with x, so I'm going to write x on top of my box there. As we look at this, we have to write down the first thing that's happening to x. So the first thing happening to x here is it is being divided by that 2. Okay? So in our box we write, hey, x is being divided by 2 first. Then x is being added by 4. Good. So adding by 4. That's what's going on with that. And we can then say, all right, we're going to go bottoms up and do the opposite. So as we solve this, we're going to minus 4 from both sides, and then I'm going to multiply by 2. So let's do it. Here's my equation here. We're going to subtract 4 from there and subtract 4 from there. Okay, so minus 4 from both sides there. The nice thing on this right side is you kind of knew that we're going to subtract here because the 4s are going to cancel. They go away. But I really generally like to start on the left-hand side. So looking at this over here on the left-hand side, we have 6 minus 4, that's 2. And that's equal to, then, we bring down the x over 2. And it basically, those 4s cancel like we talked about. Now, next step, it says multiply by 2. Okay, so now we're going to times by 2 to both sides. This side over on the left, we get 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. And now on the right-hand side is a little tricky because we do have x divided by 2 times by 2. And so we know that if I divide by 2 and then multiply by 2, those actually would be the same thing as multiplying by 1, right? So we say they cancel. But we really just say that they divide to 1 is kind of a better way to think about it. And we get that x is equal to 4. So we really normally would like to rewrite that and write it as x equals 4. For some reason, we prefer x to be on the left-hand side as we solve these. Okay. So now, we've looked at this first one. We see that x equals 4. We see how we solved it. But now what happens when I compare it to something really similar? This time, the x plus 4 is in the numerator of this fraction, right? And then the whole thing is being divided by 2. So let's go ahead, let's fill out our box and see how the box helps us. All right, so with that, we have x. Now, first thing happening here is we are adding that 4 to the x, right? There's almost like parentheses up here saying, hey, you add the 4 first there, okay? So in our box, we say, hey, first thing happening x is adding by 4. Then we're dividing by that 2. So I say, okay, so then we're divided by 2. Now, remember that we're going to solve this. We're going to go bottoms up and do the opposite operation. So instead of dividing by 2, I'm going to multiply by 2. Instead of adding by 4, I'm going to subtract by 4. So let's do it. Now, we're going to multiply by 2 here and multiply by 2 here. So now, again, you could almost think of this as being in parentheses, right? So x plus 4 times 2 and divided by 2, that just undoes itself. They're what we call inverse operations. And so we can just say, hey, those divide to 1. And we can look here. So I have a 2 times that 6 is 12. And then that equals just that x plus 4 that we had in that numerator there. Then our box says, so we multiplied by 2. Now we're going to minus by 4. So minus 4 to both sides. Minus 4. And I get that 8 is equal to x. And that's it. The 4's cancel. They add to 0, right? And so we would probably like to rewrite it as x equals 8. There we go. Now compare the two. Looking back at how they started, if you look here, you do see that they were very similar. And I've had students who don't use the box, they choose not to use the box, they end up making a mistake and solving both equations the exact same way. But we just solved it and we know that, hey, order matters here. If I'm dividing by 2 first or if I'm adding by 4 first, that makes a difference. So be careful with that. And this is one of the best reasons cases I can make at why the box helps us with this. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at 19. I'm a fairy tale fan, so Natsu Dragoneel made it into this worksheet. Anyways, 19. Natsu didn't use the box. Oh, Natsu. And made a mistake. So surprised. So it says use the box to find Natsu's mistake, then correct it. Okay. So I'm going to come over here and use the box. And I know I'm supposed to have an X there instead of, yeah, because that's what the thing we're solving for. Now, then, first thing happening to X goes in my box. First thing is right here. It's being divided by -3. Actually, let's move that down. Hey, it's right there. Okay. It's being divided by a 3. So, divide by a 3. Then, the second thing happening to it is, oh yeah, we are minusing by 5. So, here we go. Minus by 5. So what we'll do then is we're going to do the opposite. Bottoms up, do the opposite. Okay? Bottoms up. Now, instead of minusing by 5, we have to do the opposite, which is add by 5. And then because of the divide by 3, we're going to multiply by 3. Again, opposite operations. So let's check and see where Natsu made his mistake. So first step, I was supposed to add by 5 to both sides. So if I just add 5 here, add 5 there, and I get, let's see, so the X over 3 and the 5's cancel, they add to 0, equals, then 7 plus 5 is 12. And I'm pretty sure that's our mistake then, right? Natsu, it looks like, thought he should multiply by 3 first, where we really needed to add by 5 first. So now, if we're going to finish solving this out, I'm going to come and write it down here. So we had X over 3 equals 12. The next step, because we already did the add by 5, the next step is to divide by 3. So, no. Oh, look, it's a divide by 3. The next step is to times by 3, multiply by 3. So let's times by 3, times by 3. And here we go. The 3's divide to 1. I get X equals what 12 times 3 is, which is 36. We get X equals 36. Which is 10 more than what Natsu got at 26. Okay, guys, so that's it for these equations, solving two-step equations with fractions. I hope the box was able to help you out and to see what we were doing and the order we were doing these in. And we'll see you next time.